Hello everybody, welcome back to the Aftermath. Today, we're going to be talking about my personal MLB predictions. So let's hop right into it. First, we're going to be talking about the AL Central. Now, the AL Central has the Minnesota Twins, the Cleveland Indians, the Chicago White Sox, the Kansas City Royals, and the Detroit Tigers. Now, there's a lot of different type of talent in this Central Division, but I think first place is going to go to the Minnesota Twins. I think that the Twins are going to do well because they recently signed Josh Donaldson. They lost C.J. Cron and Jonathan Schoop, which are two massive players, and they're going to lose them to the Detroit Tigers, who are kind of division rivals. So that's not too big of a deal for them, plus getting Josh Donaldson, so that's massive. And then I think Miguel Sano might move over to first base and then put Marwin Gonzalez somewhere in the outfield. And then I think that really upgrades their team a lot. The nice thing about having Marwin Gonzalez is he can play honestly anywhere. So if you move Miguel Sano to first base and you have Josh Donaldson at third base, you're going to be looking really good. Not to mention their pitching staff is doing really well. And if you want to see my full video of that, please check it up here, somewhere up there. So I think the Twins are going to be your AL Central winners. And then second is a really tough decision between the Indians and the Chicago White Sox. But I think it's going to be the White Sox. The White Sox have made so many improvements this season. They are going to definitely be a contender in the Central Division. They're not up there yet to be the best team in the AL Central, but they're definitely contenders, and I think they're going to do much better than they did last season. Last season, they finished 20 and a half games behind the Twins, so I don't think they're going to take that 28 games and hop right up to first place, but I think that they're definitely going to be close. They still finished 20 and a half games behind the Indians, so that's still not good either, but I think that they're just going to, their additions in Yasmani Grandal, Dallas Keuchel, and they also added Edwin Encarnacion. So their team is going to be absolutely stacked, not to mention their pitching staff is already good with Ronald Lopez and Lucas Giolito, and then adding Dallas Keuchel to that is going to be just phenomenal. They have James McCann at the catcher's position, but now he's going to, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him now. Maybe they make a trade for something like an outfielder or something, but Yasmani Grandal, I think, is going to be their starter, and maybe they'll hold on to James McCann, but I doubt that they would because he's an all-star, so I think that Yasmani Grandal is going to be their starter, but I think that they may do a trade for James McCann. So there's your second place for the AL Central. Then we're going to go into third place. Third place, I think, is going to be the Cleveland Indians. The Cleveland Indians last season were 8 games back from the Twins. They were above 500. They had a .574 PCT. So I think that they're going to be a third place because they lost out on Corey Kluber, and they haven't done much this offseason. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to do, but I think they're going to be the third place team this year. And then we're going to go into fourth place. I think your fourth place team is going to be the Detroit Tigers. Now, I think that the Detroit Tigers are going to be good because they've made 2 good additions. I think that their pitching staff is just going to be a little bit better. I hope they make more additions this offseason, but if not, so be it. That's all right. I think they're still going to be better than they were last season. And I think that the Kansas City Royals are going to be your fifth place team because as much as I do think they're going to be good with Alberto Mondesi, Whit Merrifield, Brad Keller, I don't see them doing too well because they only finished a few games, or 11 games above the Tigers, but that's just, I'm not sure if that's going to do well. I'm not sure if they're going to do well. I think that they're okay. I think it's going to be pretty close between the two teams, but I do think that the Detroit Tigers are going to come out on top to be the fourth place team. With that being said, we're going to hop into the AL East. The AL East includes the New York Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Boston Red Sox, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Baltimore Orioles. This is probably one of the hardest divisions to be in if you're a team like the Orioles or the Blue Jays. Both of those teams are definitely in a rebuild and a rebuilding type season or a rebuilding type year or so. But I think that your first place team is going to be the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees finished 7 games above the Tampa Bay Rays. So they were just a little bit above them. They finished 103 and 59. So that's pretty good. I think that the New York Yankees are definitely a dynasty. They haven't done too much this offseason. They're losing Dylan Betances and Didi Gregorius. They're losing Dylan Betances to their cross-city rivals in the New York Mets. So I do think the Yankees are a very good team, and I definitely can see them getting first place. Second place, I think it's going to be real close between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Boston Red Sox, but I do see the Boston Red Sox coming out on top here. I think it's going to be really, really close. Of course, of the loss of their manager, who was a part of the Astros organization at the time of their cheating. So he knew about it, and he got caught for that and fired. So the Boston Red Sox are going to have to find a new manager, which is not sure if he's going to be any good or not, but there are not a lot of great managers on the market right now. So I think the Boston Red Sox are going to be a second-place team. They're thinking about getting rid of Mookie Betts, which is a terrible idea. Do not get rid of Mookie Betts if he's still got time in his contract. They have a pretty good team. I think that Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Mookie Betts are a great combination of outfielders. Jackie Bradley Jr. isn't the best hitting center fielder, but he is a great defensive player, and I think he's going to do better this season than he did last year. Then we're going to talk about your third-place team. I think your third-place team is definitely going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't think they even come close to the Toronto Blue Jays or the Baltimore Orioles. I think they're just a phenomenal team. Tyler Glasnow is an amazing pitcher. Blake Snell is an amazing pitcher. And then you have Austin Meadows, who's amazing. Kevin Kiermaier is really, really good. They haven't done too much this offseason. They lost out on Tommy Pham, who was traded for Hunter Renfroe and a prospect. They also got, I can't remember his name entirely, but they got a player from the Cardinals for Matthew Liberatore and another prospect. So that was a pretty big trade for them. I think that Matthew Liberatore would have been a good pitcher for them if they would have waited 4 to 5 years. I think he would have been the next Tyler Glasnow for them. So I think that they're going to be your third-place team for the AL East. Then we're going to hop into the fourth-place spot. I think it's going to be the Toronto Blue Jays. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to be so much better this season with the additions of bringing up Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Cavan Biggio. Those 3 players are really, really good. They're going to really round out their infield and outfield. Not to mention you have Jin Ryu also being their new addition this season. And also they have Justin Smoak. So just a phenomenal team right now. I think that they're going to do really well. I think that they definitely need a few pieces here and there, but I think that their 3 rookies last season are phenomenal. I think they're going to do really well. Bo Bichette showed that he's an amazing player last year, and so did Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think Cavan Biggio didn't do as well as expected, but I think this season he's going to do much better. Hopping into our team number 5 is going to be the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Baltimore Orioles have had a rough couple of years. Chris Davis is not as good as he used to be. He's definitely decreased in value. His $23 million contract is just way overpaid at this point. But there is it is getting a little bit better. Of course, they lost out on Dylan Bundy, which definitely had to suck, being probably their top pitcher over there. So that's not good. losing that to the Angels is not good at all. But there is a little bit of good. They have Trey Mancini now, who's phenomenal. He's a great first baseman, great outfielder. And then you got Jonathan Scope, who's always been just an average player, average to above average, so he's never going to give you a bad season. So I think that they're definitely going to be a little bit better than they did last season. They finished 54 and 108, so with a .333 PCT, which is definitely needs to be improved. So with that being said, we're going to hop into the Western Division now, with including the Houston Astros, the Athletics, the Rangers, the Angels, and the Mariners. Now, this is another tough division. All teams here have made at least one addition, so I'm very excited to see how these teams do. Coming in first place for me is going to be pretty tough. I think it's still going to be the Astros. I think that they're a really good team. But with their cheating, been caught cheating, that's definitely going to have big consequences on them. So if the consequences get any bigger, I might change my mind a little bit to either the Athletics or the Angels. But it's definitely going to be very close. They're losing on two big drafts, first and second round picks. So they could be losing out on the next, maybe like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Trey Mancini, or maybe Aaron Judge. So that's definitely not going to be good for them. But they still do have a young core, and they still do have a lot of money to be spending. Of course, losing out on Garrett Cole, which is definitely not good. They have done a little bit of good this offseason, but I don't think it's looking too good for them. Coming at the second place team is definitely between three teams: the Athletics, the Rangers, and the Angels. Now, they were all pretty close to each other, at least the Rangers and the Angels. The Athletics finished 10 games behind the Astros, so the Athletics had a phenomenal season. 10 games behind the Astros, who went 107 and 55, so phenomenal job there. I think the second place team is going to be the Athletics again. I think that the Athletics are phenomenal. They have players like Matt Olson, Matt Chapman. They definitely have a good team, and I'm hoping to see a little bit of improvement from them. So I'm looking forward to see how they do this season. They finished a heck of a season last year, and they're the only other team besides the Astros who finished above 500. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure they're going to be the second place team this year. And now is when we're going to change it up a little bit. Instead of the Texas Rangers being third place like they finished last season, I think it's going to be the Angels. Now, they only finished 6 games above the Angels, but I think that they're going to not do so great this season. Of course, they have Joey Gallo, and they have Corey Kluber now, but they lost out on Delano DeShields and another prospect, so it's not going to be that amazing. I think that the Angels are going to get it because they've done so much work this offseason. They've added Dylan Bundy, they've added Julio Teheran, and they've added Anthony Rendon. If you want to see my Angels video, you can check it out up here. So that was a great video. I go in depth into all of those players' stats. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Then coming in at the fourth place spot, it's pretty close between the Mariners and the Rangers. I think that the Rangers are not going to have a great season this year. I think that last season was a little bit of a fluke. I think they're going to do a little bit better this season, though, about that. So it's going to be very close, but I do think the team that's going to come out on top is going to be the Texas Rangers. Now, the reason I think that is because the addition of Corey Kluber is amazing. Joey Gallo just did phenomenal last season. So if they can all do the same and at least keep it up, then that'll be just phenomenal. That'll be just a really good season for them, I think. But if not, then I think the Mariners are definitely going to get it. because I think the Mariners did not have a great season last year. I think the Mariners hopefully make some more additions this year and get that higher place spot. So that brings us to our 5th place team is going to be the Seattle Mariners. Now, I think the Seattle Mariners are a great team. They have Mitch Haniger, Kyle Seager. They have a bunch of good players like that, but they just need a little bit more time. I think they're also a team that's in their rebuilding stages, but I think they're going to be overall a good team. So I think that's going to be very exciting to see what the American League is going to be like. That's going to be all for today's video. If you did like it, please hit the like button. And if you like all my videos, please subscribe. That's going to be all for today's video. See ya. Bye. And if you're wondering, there's going to be a part 2 with the National League. So that's all for today. Bye.